Hi guys, Harry here, and there have been so many things that have happened in Doctor Who that I am going to discuss in today's video. Of course, there is the massive Disney Plus deal, which is going to give, obviously, Doctor Who the streaming rights to stream it in Disney Plus, of course, all over the world where Disney Plus is. Also, the amount of money that Disney are probably going to put into Doctor Who. Also, the fact that Russell T Davies has started writing Series 14 for, of course, Ncuti Gatwa, when he will have his first series as the Doctor. Of course, there has been his companion that has been cast for this series, and there is also the Doctor Who magazine release that has gone over. They've made a story in there of the 14th Doctor's first adventure. But before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe, also leave a like and comment down below, and let's get into the video. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Disney Plus Doctor Who deal. Of course, Disney have bought the rights to stream Doctor Who on their Disney Plus streaming site, and that is, well, it's amazing because it's going to reach out to so many new fans who don't have BBC or BBC iPlayer, of course, in their country. It's going to still stream on BBC iPlayer in Britain and Ireland. I don't know whether that is just, say, a Northern Ireland or all of Ireland, or whether that is Disney Plus in Ireland. But everywhere else in the world, it will be on Disney Plus, apart from Britain and Ireland. And of course, probably the biggest thing for Doctor Who in terms of what they can do now with the show is the budget. Because apparently it is broadcast that Doctor Who's existing budget of 1 to 3 million per episode, which I think is a bit high, but that's what many reports have been saying, per episode, 1 to 3 million pounds, could triple to 10 million pounds budget for one episode, which is insane. That is a massive, well, it's a massive difference to just 1 to 3 million. So this would transform Doctor Who into £100 million pound franchise. That is insane. But transforming Doctor Who, even just roughly with a rough estimation, into £100 million franchise is massive. No more going through on like shaky sets or bad CGI. Of course, shaky sets we saw a lot in the classic era, and bad CGI played Doctor Who, of course, through the modern era. Getting a bit better in the 13th Doctor's era, especially with Power of the Doctor, but this is going to put it on a whole new level. And that's not all. With this massive new budget, Russell T Davies wants to expand the universe of Doctor Who again, with spin-off series, similar to what we had before with Torchwood and the Sarah Jane Adventures. Of course, Russell T Davies has spoke at length about wanting to have a kind of expanded universe like the MCU. And this time with, of course, Disney Plus having all their money input into it. And of course, maybe even Russell T Davies can talk with them, and they can have some consulting into the mix, because, of course, I don't think Disney are just going to give all this money to Russell T Davies without any input. I think they want a bit of input. But it could work out in a way because, of course, they have Marvel, the biggest expanded universe of all time. And, of course, it has seen before that Russell T Davies can do this, as back in 2005 to 2010, he had all the Torchwood and the Sarah Jane Adventures and Doctor Who on at the same time, of course, them linking together. So this would be a big expanded universe. It would be like an expanded universe. And also, I can't wait for spin-offs to return, because that is something that has been severely lacking in Doctor Who. And it seems like not everything will change for the show, as the BBC shared, under a creative vision, they will deliver quintessentially British show to a future generations upon an unprecedented scale with Disney Plus, as the exclusive home for new seasons of Doctor Who outside the UK and Ireland. and both partners have aligned under returning showrunner Russell T Davies's bold vision, who takes control of the TARDIS in 2023. Of course, this is great because the BBC still gets all the streaming rights on BBC iPlayer to people that live inside the UK and Ireland, but outside of that, you have to have Disney Plus. So Disney Plus will bring it to loads and loads of people, new fans and old fans alike, and it will just show future generations Doctor Who, and hopefully they can get into it like we have. Now, I think there was a thing that Australian fans aren't happy because they have BBC and BBC iPlayer, but it said that BBC won't be able to stream Doctor Who outside the UK and Ireland. So for Australian fans, they have kind of lost Doctor Who. For now, it just looks like it's the UK and Ireland that have Doctor Who without having to buy Disney Plus. Russell T Davies even commented in on this, and he said, "I love this show. This is the best of both worlds. With the vision and joy of the BBC and Disney Plus together, we can launch the TARDIS all around the planet, reaching a new generation of fans while keeping our traditional home firmly on the BBC in the UK." And this is insane, of course. He's weighed in on this. He thinks it's a good idea. I trust Russell T Davies, and I don't think he would just go to Disney without a plan. And I think that he is obviously keeping the major amount of creative control, and he's not just going to throw it away just because the BBC and Disney Plus are giving him loads of money. And this is further shown by that the show will be produced in Wales by Bad Wolf Company with BBC Studios production, and the new episodes will premiere on the BBC and Disney Plus beginning in late 2023 for fans all over the world. But that is just the first thing I wanted to talk to you about. There have been updates for Series 14 and production team and cast members. This is insane to see, as we are now firmly moving into the new era of Doctor Who. So most of this was revealed in the Doctor Who magazine that came out on the 10th of November. And of course there's a lot in the Doctor Who magazine, but I will go over that later in this video when I go over the Doctor Who magazine. Of course, there have been stuff in there that Russell T Davies, how he approached the BBC to see if there was an opportunity of him coming back to write Doctor Who again. And also it has been seen that in the Doctor Who magazine, Russell T Davies revealed that he was working on episode 7 of Series 14. So he's he's almost done with writing a full series. So filming can obviously begin shortly. And of course with the production team and directors and cast members have been confirmed for 2023, it's obviously, it's going to happen. Doctor Who Series 14 will begin filming. It could possibly only be days away. So, the crew members that have been confirmed to be, writing, producing, directing Doctor Who Series 14 and also the 60th anniversary are, of course, in the showrunner role, Russell T Davies. There have been executive producers Joel Collins, Phil Collinson, Julie Gardner, and Jane Tratner. Of course, there's also producer Vicky DeLoe, script editor Scott Hancock, co-producer Ellen Marsh, and producer Chris May. And alongside all those crew members, there have been all the directors revealed for the 3 David Tennant specials. For special number 1, Rachel Tarley. For special number 2, Tom Kingsley. And for special number 3, Shana Button. So those are crew members confirmed for the 60th anniversary and the 3 specials with David Tennant. And a lot of them will also go into Series 14 as well as crew members. And I just want to note, though, I'm a bit worried about Doctor Who going back to what they think their golden era is. I mean, of course, we have Russell T Davies returning as showrunner, of course, from 2005 to 2010. He was the showrunner. And it's not just him. There is Phil Collinson, who was the producer and executive producer from 2005 to 2008. Julie Gardner also returned as executive producer from 2005 to 2009. There has been Scott Hancock, who has returned as production secretary. He was that in 2010 to 2011. And even Rachel Tarley, who didn't work with Russell T Davies on Doctor Who, she was a director back in 2014 till 2017. So 5 out of the 12 confirmed crew members have worked on Doctor Who before, and all of them, apart from Rachel Tarley, so 3 of them have worked with Russell T Davies before, and it seems like they're going back to what they think Doctor Who's golden era is, which is what it was when David Tennant and Catherine Tate were, of course, the faces of Doctor Who. And it's made even more apparent by the cast members as well, because these are all the cast members that are going to be in the Doctor Who, the 3 specials with David Tennant that are, of course, coming out next year. These are all the cast members that have starred in Doctor Who before. Of course, we have David Tennant, who is returning as the Doctor, and he was the Doctor before, back in 2005. Through to 2010. Of course, we have Catherine Tate also returning as Donna Noble, who was the Doctor's companion in 2006 for 1 episode, and then she was a regular addition through 2008 till 2010. We also have Bernard Cribbins, who played Wilfred Mott, who was Donna's granddad, and he was a regular addition through 2007 until 2010. We also have Jacqueline King, who played Sylvia Noble, who was Donna's mum, who was a regular fixture in 2008 through to 2010. And we even have Carl Collin, who was Sean Temple, who was Donna's husband, and he was only seen in 2 episodes, of course, in 2009 and 2010 being The End of Time Part 1 and The End of Time Part 2. But that is 5 out of the 8 confirmed cast members that are returning from Doctor Who. I mean, I've put off this video a little bit because I wanted all the information rather than having to make loads of small little videos, hoping it will come out. But I've had to push back videos on, like, what would Doctor Who be moving forward. I've got especially a video that I really want to come out on Neil Patrick Harris, his role in the Doctor Who 60th anniversary, what it could be. But it just seems like Doctor Who is almost going backwards. It's almost like they're playing safe and they're saying that no era is good unless it's David Tennant and Catherine Tate. And that would be really damaging for Doctor Who moving forward. Because as soon as David Tennant and Catherine Tate go, there's no reason to watch Doctor Who, moving forward. And that would be a real shame. However, moving on to the next Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa, he will take control of the TARDIS in his first episode airing over the festive period in 2023. So hopefully this means a return for Christmas specials in Doctor Who. That would just be amazing. Of course, that will be streaming on, of course, BBC One and Disney Plus, and then be available on BBC iPlayer and Disney Plus. For UK viewers, that will be BBC iPlayer, and international viewers, that will be Disney Plus. And that's not all, because there have been auditions for actors hoping to become Ncuti Gatwa's companion. They took place on Saturday the 24th of September with Ncuti Gatwa in attendance and pre-production beginning the following week. So they have actually gotten into Doctor Who and they are preparing to start up the actual production. So again, as I said earlier this video, Doctor Who actually starting production in the next few days, the next few weeks or even days, is very possible. And it has been confirmed that someone has been cast as a companion for Ncuti Gatwa. Of course, there are so many names that have come up, but I think there are 3 big ones. So I'm going to start off with someone that came really popular in the summer, Rose Aileen Ellis. Hopefully I pronounced that right, but sorry if I butchered that pronunciation. So her biggest role was in EastEnders, which she starred in for 2 years, but she's now quit that, and of course she's not been in anything big. But people are thinking that's because she could be the Doctor's new companion. And it's not just because she's quit EastEnders, but also because she started following Ncuti Gatwa and Russell T Davies on Instagram. And also I think there's been quotes of her saying that she can't say anything, that she has a big role on a certain TV show, but she can't say anything, obviously, because she doesn't want to get into trouble. And a lot of people are latching onto that as Doctor Who. And also, she would be the first disabled on-screen companion, as she's deaf. And I think that would just be great. It would show Doctor Who as, obviously, a lot wider. So I think it would add a lot of depth to Doctor Who, and she's not the only one. The next person that has been seen as could be the next Doctor Who companion is Ruth Madeley. Sorry if I butchered that pronunciation. Of course, her name has been thrown around as there have been some leaks claiming to have seen her on the set of the 60th anniversary. So she could also lead into the new series as the Doctor Who companion, like help the Doctor in the 60th anniversary and then lead into the new series when, of course, he regenerates from David Tennant to Ncuti Gatwa. And Ruth Madeley has also been in Doctor Who media before. She's been on Big Finish as companion to the 6th Doctor. She played companion Hebe Harrison, sorry if I butchered that pronunciation, who was a wheelchair companion to the 6th Doctor, and of course, like Rose, she would be the first companion the first disabled companion on screen, as she's in a wheelchair. And the final person that is a big contender for the Doctor's new companion is Yasmin Finney. She's already in the 60th anniversary playing Rose, so again, she could easily lead into the new series, and a lot of people have thought that she would definitely lead into the new series following David Tennant and when he regenerates, being companion to Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor. And they've all worked with Russell T Davies before, and he normally has a knack for hiring people that he has worked with before. So I could easily see him choosing any one of these 3, and I think it's just more likely, as they've been referenced more than anyone else, that is probably one of these 3 people. And the final thing I want to go over is the Doctor Who magazine. So this is issue 584, and obviously it's very reminiscent of Doctor Who magazines back in 2008, of course, when David Tennant and Catherine Tate were the stars of the show. Of course, there's David Tennant prominently in the centre of the magazine, of course, doing a mysterious but confident pose, and of course it's, as I said, it's very reminiscent of the time back in 2008. So I'm just worried, are they backtracking to what they think is the golden era, and it's going to put them a step behind when they need to move forward with Ncuti Gatwa? But a lot of people like this magazine. I haven't had the chance to get it, but I have read reviews, just a synopsis of the whole thing, and I have watched other videos of people who do have the magazine explain what it was all about. Of course, this is going through basically everything that will be happening, from the power of the Doctor through to David Tennant's 3 specials. So there's a lot in here. Of course, Russell T Davies, he's the one that obviously wanted this magazine to take place, and he was quoted saying, from day one, I wanted to increase ties between the show and the magazine. I love it when we're in sync. A lot of people will be thinking David's not the real Doctor. He's a trick an illusion, a flashback, but no, he's real, and Doctor Who magazine can help us underline that. So this magazine is to really emphasise that David Tennant is back, and this is a weird thing, because he said earlier that it might be a trick or it might be a flashback, but here he says it's not a trick, it's not an illusion, it's not a flashback, but I don't know. It's kind of weird to explain. I don't know why he's been saying that. It might be a flashback or it might be an illusion. But here he's saying people will think that he's a trick or an illusion or a flashback, but he's not. But you put it in our minds that he was. But that aside, I think this is probably the most controversial bit of new information on Doctor Who we've got, at least in my opinion. So the magazine has a lot of things in it. Of course, it consists of Meet the New Team, so all the producers, the directors, crew members, cast members of the 2023 specials and beyond, of course, are listed in there, where I got those names from that I said earlier in the video. Of course, there's a letter from Russell T Davies, like his columns that I have made reference to earlier in the videos, and a lot more that I didn't reference, but you just gotta read the magazine to see. Of course, brought him back into Doctor Who, what brought him back, how he made contact with the BBC again, and stuff with, of course, the Disney Plus deal as well. There is even a production diary from Scott Hancock, who is the script editor of course, these upcoming specials, providing exclusive updates about the episodes direct from Doctor Who's HQ, which is, of course, Bad Wolf Production Studios, of course, in Wales. So, of course, he's the script editor, going through every script, knows exactly what will happen in each episode. Just something really cool that could really explain something about the episodes coming up. We even have references to the power of the Doctor. Of course, there's this whole segment with David Tennant, Russell T Davies, Chris Chibnall, Rachel Tarley and Jamie Magnus Stone, as well as CG artist Ben Pickless, of course, when they were shooting the Power of the Doctor regeneration sequence. Of course, that we saw from the actual Power of the Doctor script that Jodie's regeneration changed a little. So again, Chris Chibnall didn't even know if the show was going to carry on when he initially wrote the script. So it's cool seeing how it went from the show maybe ending to David Tennant emerging as the 14th Doctor. There is also a segment where fans were lucky enough to be granted studio visits in the 1960s and the 70s, recalling the thrill of watching Doctor Who being made. So maybe this is a thing they're going to bring back into Doctor Who, inviting fans along to see the making of Doctor Who. There is also a segment about fans collecting like police box merchandise. That has been like a lifelong passion for them. People who have, of course, like all the Doctor Who memorabilia, and even made Doctor Who memorabilia, and of course like world records of who has the most Doctor Who merchandise. There's even a segment about remaking some of the old Doctor Who stories that have been lost, like 1996, The Power of the Daleks, being recreated, of course, making another story expand in this Doctor Who universe, which is ever expanding. There's also a segment that looks back at 2006's Army of Ghosts, most notably the encounters with Cybermen and the Daleks. Again, is this going back in time too much? I don't want Doctor Who to just fall into a rut where it's only David Tennant that people tune in to watch, and once he's gone, no one bothers. Again, by bringing David Tennant back and by going into his history, it's making them a lot harder to move onward and upwards. And then there's a promise in this magazine that a guide will come forward that will be essential to the expanded stories in the Doctor Who universe. Now, the biggest thing in this magazine is this script, this story that the 14th Doctor has, and it picks up from where the Power of the Doctor ended. Now, of course, everyone knows how the Power of the Doctor ended. I mean, spoiler alert if you don't, but if you've watched this, you probably do. David Tennant regenerated from Judy Whittaker, and then this script picks up from the cliff top where the Doctor regenerated. He runs back into the TARDIS, and he doesn't know how to work the controls because he has regeneration energy running through him. So the TARDIS picks up this distress signal and pilots itself to this distress signal, where the 14th Doctor realises that they are at the 1966 World Cup. Of course, the last time the England men's team won a major title, which in this case, of course, is the World Cup, beating Germany. Of course, we got that not so long ago with the women's team. The women's team finally beat Germany, and it's been over 50 years of that. But so this was the last time the men's team won a major title, but that isn't the point of this episode. What happens is that the Doctor starts scanning for aliens that could be sending the distress signal, and he sees this group of 4 humans that look kind of weird, and it is revealed that they are aliens, and he thinks that they are the ones that are creating a disturbance in 1966. However, before he is allowed to deal with them, Daleks come from the sky in their flying saucer that we've seen back, of course, many times in Doctor Who, and they start exterminating all the players on the field. And of course, this didn't happen in real world history. England won. You can't take that away from us. Germany has won way too many times. I know the Daleks are evil, but that is just too much, taking England's win away from us. We need this win. Germany have enough wins, but it's insane. And that was, of course, the end of that comic strip, saying it will continue next week. And this is kind of bad. In my opinion, you need to read this to understand what's going to happen in the David Tennant specials, which is a shame, because this is a paywall. This is locked behind a paywall. You need to pay to understand what is going to happen in the free specials, and that is a shame. That is literally saying, well, you don't want to pay for Doctor Who? You can't have it. You can't see it. This isn't what Born Again was, as a bridge between the 9th and 10th Doctor. This is a paywall where they are inserting stories just for the sake of inserting stories. And I think it's a shame. It could literally go from Power of the Doctor to wherever this anniversary special picks up without any of these stories being introduced. But unfortunately, they are being introduced and it's locked behind a paywall. So hopefully I can get the Doctor Who magazine and I can do reviews on especially these little stories of the 14th Doctor's first adventures for you. But let me know down in the comments below what you think of all of this. I know it was a lot of information, and obviously thank you for watching all of this. And if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, also subscribe and share it out. And I will see you in the next one.